service of CNC Worldwide.
The Daily is a service of CNC News made possible by the Greece Chamber of Commerce. I'm Bud Lowell. Your full AccuWeather forecast is right across the top of every CNC local news page. Former Greece Police Department Sergeant Nicholas Joseph has been released from the Mid-State Correctional Facility. The State Department of Corrections says Joseph will remain under community supervision for the next 3 years. Joseph was convicted in 2009 of vehicular assault, and perjury after an accident in which he smashed into a stalled SUV on Route 390 in Greece. That crash caused a pregnant woman in the SUV to go into labor. Joseph was found to have both alcohol and cocaine in his system at the time of the crash. A glimpse of what looked like a body triggered a full-scale response in the Genesee River Gorge late Wednesday night, but officials say it was a false alarm. Rochester police and fire departments were called to the Pont du Ren pedestrian bridge in the High Falls after a passerby spotted a possible body in the water. Rescue crews put a boat in the river and went to check it out, but found it was old cloth that had gotten wrapped around some floating brush. One firefighter was treated for an ankle injury after the call was concluded. Rochester police say a woman was stabbed on Parkway off Jones Avenue late Wednesday night. Police were called to the northwest side about 10:30. They found the 45-year-old woman with multiple stab wounds, took her to Strong Memorial Hospital. Her injuries are said to be serious. No one is in custody yet. Brighton teenager John Zachary has agreed to serve 4 weekends in the Monroe County Jail as part of his sentence for causing the car crash that injured 3 other Brighton High School students. The 17-year-old accepted a plea agreement during an appearance in Monroe County Court. In addition to the 4 weekends in jail starting in September, Zachary will put in 12 work weekends for the county and perform 200 hours of community service. He'll also spend 5 years on probation. Zachary will get youthful offender status. He was driving 3 other teens home from school in October when he ran a stop sign and smashed into the back of a school bus on Warren Avenue. All 4 teens were hurt. Injuries ranged from broken bones to traumatic brain injury in one case. For the second time this week, a young child has been found at the bottom of a swimming pool in the Rochester area. State police say they responded along with the Lyons Fire Department and Lyons Ambulance for a report of a child found unresponsive in a home pool. Police say this happened Wednesday at a home on Westfall Parkway in Lyons. The 2-year-old was rushed to Newark Wayne Hospital, then transferred by Mercy Flight to Strong Memorial in Rochester. He remains in critical condition. The case remains under investigation. Another 2-year-old died Monday after somehow getting into a fenced and gated swimming pool at a home daycare center outside Brockport. The Office of Children and Family Services has now suspended the license of Mary's Kid business in the town of Sweden, pending revocation. The agency says it did inspect the center on June 17th and found everything to be in order. The Monroe County Sheriff's Department has not filed any charges in the death of Cameron Vickers. The Consumer Product Safety Commission says about 390 children drown in pool or spa-related accidents each year, and about 75% of those children are younger than the age of 5. A company that makes products like plastic forks out of environmentally friendly materials is moving its manufacturing operations from China to Rochester, specifically the Rochester Technology Park in Gates. According to Governor Cuomo's office, Trellis Earth Products will invest $8.3 million into a new headquarters at the former Kodak Elm Grove. 189 new jobs are to be created, and the company will start production in 2014. Trellis turns out more than 50 million disposable forks, knives, and spoons every month. It makes its products from bioplastic. Instead of being derived from petroleum, it's made mostly of plant starch, and it naturally biodegrades. The FAA is boosting the qualifications required for airline co-pilots as a result of the Colgan Air Flight 3407 crash near Buffalo. The crash of the twin-engine turboprop in 2009 was attributed to the crew mishandling a stall and causing the aircraft to go out of control. That was blamed partly on crew inexperience and partly on fatigue, as the crew was running on little sleep. The plane fell on a house in the town of Clarence. 49 people on board and 1 on the ground were killed, 50 in all. The FAA says it will now require co-pilots to hold a certificate of at least 1,500 hours of flight time as a pilot. They'll also have to be trained and evaluated on the specific aircraft they fly. A man already serving life in prison goes on trial later this summer for the murder of a Greece school district music teacher in 1991. Edward Larrabee was a maintenance man at Stephanie Kopczynski's apartment complex when she disappeared more than 20 years ago. Her remains were found in Orleans County in 1998. Larrabee is already serving 2 life sentences for sexual abuse and attempted murder. He is now dying of ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, but his attorney says he is still capable of assisting in his defense. He'll go on trial in September if his health permits. And bad news for fans of the historic Denzel Carousel at Rochester's Ontario Beach Park. It is sidelined, apparently, by a stripped gear. The 108-year-old carousel is a star attraction at Charlotte Beach. Unfortunately, it literally ground to a halt last week. Monroe County Parks Director Larry Staub says one of the gears has lost a number of teeth. Replacements for century-old cast iron gears aren't off-the-shelf items. Staub says the county will need to have one specially cast by a foundry, and that could take the rest of the summer. But according to YNN, there's a good side. Mechanics at Seabreeze Amusement Park, they report, have looked at the Denzel Carousel. They think they can work out a make-do fix until the new gear can be cast, welding some teeth temporarily onto the original gear. That could get the carousel back in business in a couple of weeks and be good enough to hold it through the end of the summer. To the left of the player window, you'll find links to these and other stories. At the bottom of the page, links you can use to post news and information directly to us. Next news podcast is As It Happens. Updates are as necessary. I'm Bud Lowell, CNC News.